it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a card with the brand new Mice Tools stamp set from Lawn Fawn. I've stamped those images in Lawn Fawn jet black ink on Copic friendly cardstock, and I'm going to be coloring to match some pattern paper from the Favorite Flannel Fall 6x6 pad. So I'm just going to tuck that under my cardstock panel so I can use that as my color palette inspiration. For my mice, I'm going to use W00, E70, E71, and E74, starting with the E74, and I'm laying in some shadows down the back of their body, along the back of their heads, underneath their arms, at the edges of their ears, and at the little backs of their feet. And then I'm blending that out with the E71, working forward toward their faces and down their arms. I'll come in with the E70 next, and I'm going to fill in most of them with that. I'll fill in the ears. I'm going to leave a lot of area on their face, a little bit on the neck, and then the tops of the arms and the feet. And that is where I'm going to place that W00 to just soften that up and make it a little bit lighter. And if you're looking for different ways to color mice, I do have a video on my channel with 8 ways to color mice, and that is in my Ways to Color Critters playlist. While I have these markers out, I'm also going to use them to color in the Happy Father's Day sentiment. So I am taking that E74 and just filling in the very bottom of each of those letters. I'm going to do kind of an ombre effect and then fade into a different color. But I am moving on now to that E71 and just pulling that darkest color up a little bit further. I really want to have a nice smooth blend as I transition from shade to shade. So next I'm going to bring in the E70 and I'll just pull that up a little bit further. And I'm actually not going to use the W00. Like I said, I'm going to be bringing in a different color later on to fill in the rest of those letters. But for now, I'm going to grab some pinks. I'm using R20 and R22 just to add a little bit of rosy cheeks to these mice, color in their noses and the inner part of their ears. I'm placing the R22 down first and then blending that out with the R20. I think that just makes them look so much more cheerful. I have a few things that I wanted to look like wood on this scene, so I'm going to use E53, E55, and E59 for that. Normally I would use the E57, but mine is all dried out. I still need to do my Copic refills, so I am going to use the E59 in its place, even though it is super dark, so I'm just going to use a tiny bit of that. I also want the drawers in the workbench to be wood and the countertop. And I added a few extra little lines in there to give it some wood grain texture. Then I'm going to come in with the E55 and really blend that out. I'm going to work over that quite a bit because there is quite a jump between the E55 and the E59. So I'm just adding a couple extra layers in there, working over that to try to get those two markers to blend a little bit more evenly. Then I'll bring in the E53 to finish off any remaining white space in those areas. And I'm just carefully coloring behind the tools in the little toolbox so that I can keep those white for now. Filling in the workbench and the drawers, and then I'm going to keep those brown shades. I wasn't sure if I was going to use the E55 and I ended up not using it for this, but I'm going to do the back of the workbench, like the pegboard part, in some brown shades. I wanted it to almost look like plywood or something like that. So I started with the E53 along the edges, blended out with the E51, and then I'm going to bring in the E50. And I wanted to keep that white in the center, so I'm going to grab my colorless blender and just add a little bit of that along the edge of that E50 to help the blend kind of fade a little bit more into the white space. I went back to the E50 and used the side of the marker to just feather in a little bit more color so that I had a smoother transition. And then I'm going to use the E55 and E53 to color in the handle of the hammer. Next, I'm going to work on the metal parts of the tools, and I typically would use cool grays for metal, but I wanted to match that pattern paper, and so I decided to go with warm grays for today's card. I'm using W1, W3, and W5. I'm going to do the saw blade, the top of the hammer, the wrench that is on its own, and then also the wrench that is in the wooden toolbox. And I'm going to do the lower part of the workbench as if that is made out of metal as well. So I started with the W5 for all of those, blended out with the W3, and then I'm going to finish them off with the W1. And like I said, I think the warm gray just goes better with the shades of the mice and the shades in that pattern paper. That pattern paper is definitely more warm toned than cool toned. Next, I'm going to bring in BG10, BG72, BG75, and BG78. I'm going to start with the overalls on my mice, and I'm using the BG75 as the darkest on that. I did my shadows, and then I'm going to start blending that out with the BG72. These are a little bit more desaturated aquas, so I think they also go really well with the grays and with the pattern paper, and just the idea of like working together in a garage with this father and son mouse, or could be a little girl mouse. So I am then going to use the BG10 to finish that off, which is going to brighten it up quite a bit. Then I'm going to switch to the BG78, and I'm going to do the handles of a few of my tools, blending out with the BG75 and then the BG72 to finish those off. I also decided to do the box of nails in this combo because I didn't really want to introduce any other colors into this palette. The pattern paper has a very simple color palette with mainly just the two shades plus the white, so I decided to just stick with that. And then for the rulers, I'm just going to use a touch of the BG10 so it looks white but has a little bit of definition. And I'm also going to take that BG10 and finish off my letters. So now I'm starting at the top and adding in that color and kind of blending it a little bit over where I had the E72 before, so that the colors kind of merge and meld together. And once I finish that, I'm going to trim these images out with their matching dies. For my background, I'm going to be doing a very old technique that I haven't done in such a long time that I can't even remember the last time I did it. But I'm taking some Distress Oxide ink. I'm using pumice stone first, pressing that all over an acrylic block and then adding a bit of water to that. And then I'm going to set that onto a small panel of Bristol smooth surface cardstock. And because I hadn't done it in such a long time, it was kind of like a little bit of a learning curve for me to figure out how I wanted it to go. I pressed down on that block and it made the color a little bit more smooth. I wanted it to be a little bit more grungy and rough. So I flipped the block over and added a bit more ink. And then I'm dabbing off some of the water so that I get some areas where it's, darker ink and some areas where it's lighter. But I really want to have some more texture on this panel. So again, I'm going to turn that panel and press more of that ink that is still on the block into that area down below and just add some more little speckles and splatters to it. Then I'm going to clean off that block and I'm going to switch colors. So what I've done so far is the ground, and now I'm going to use some salvage patina for the wall. And I'm making sure to kind of twist my block a little bit because I want there to not be perfect lines there. This time I added a little less water, and I'm going to leave a space to kind of look like a baseboard between these. And then I'm going to start pressing that ink down and kind of just smudging it, smearing it around, adding a bit more water, pressing that ink back down again from the block, and just seeing what kind of results I get. I want this to be super grungy, like I said. This is a garage that they are working in my mind, this little scene that I'm setting. And so I just want there to be, you know, a little bit of messiness to it. So I am just adding some of that and using the block to create some different patterns in there, some different textures. And then I wanted there to be a little bit of mixing between the colors. I wanted some gray in the wall, but not too much. So I just pressed a little bit more ink using the edge of the pad, spritz that again, and I'm going to set that into my blue area and kind of get a little bit of that gray mixed in, and I'm really liking how that's looking. So I decided to add a little bit of the blue down into the floor as well. I had a little too much water in that top right corner, so I'm going to grab my paper towel once again and just dab a little bit of that out. The paper towel is also adding to the texture, and then I'm going to just set this panel aside to dry. While that is happening, I'm going to pull out some pattern paper. I'm going to use a sheet from the Favorite Flannel Fall, the same one that I used as the inspiration. This time I'm just using the straight up and down plaid rather than the diagonal. And then I'm also going to pull out a piece from the Let It Shine Starry Skies 6x6 that has the aqua background with little white stars on it. I also need to stamp on the inside of my card, so I created a card base from the new Mist cardstock, and then I'm taking 2 images and a small sentiment to stamp down in the lower right hand corner. I wanted to leave plenty of room to write a greeting because this is going to be my Father's Day card for my dad, and I did the "You Really Measure Up" sentiment. And now I'm ready to start assembling. I'm kind of taking the top piece of my pattern paper and figuring out where I need the background panel to go. And then I'm going to glue that flat to the card base using a bunch of liquid glue so I can get that to lay really flat since the water did curl it just slightly. So I'm just going to hold that down in place, make sure it's on there as straight as I can get it. And I did take a pair of scissors, my Cutter Bee Teflon coated scissors, and just trimmed off like a tiny little bit of overhang. And then I'm going to take the pattern paper, which I have popped up with some Scotch 3M foam tape, and I'm going to add the small piece above that panel and then the larger piece below the panel. And I trimmed that pattern paper down with the largest of the large stitch rectangle stackables, so it has that nice stitching detail all the way around the outside edges. And I love this print for a Father's Day card because it just reminds me of a really cozy flannel shirt. So I'm going to take a thin strip of that aqua starry paper and glue that to the top portion of the plaid pattern paper down at the bottom to form a border. And then I took one of the simple stitched hillside borders and created a coordinating piece to go down at the bottom. I made that a little bit larger so that I could add my sentiment banner over top. This is the smallest of the everyday sentiment banners, and I chose to die cut the sentiment with that rather than using the matching die for it, just so it had a little bit more prominence on the card. And then I can bring in my images. I'm going to be using a mixture of liquid glue and foam tape to adhere those because I want to create some dimension on the card. I'm going to glue the workbench down flat, And then I'm also going to take the wooden toolbox and glue that down flat over on the left to match the workbench on the right. I did pop up the box of nails, and I'm going to layer that in front of the toolbox. And then I have the little trio of spilt nails that I'm going to glue flat down in front. So it looks like the nails have just been spilled out onto the floor, or maybe they were working on a project. The 3 tools that I'm going to hang on the pegboard, I did pop up with some foam tape so they could look like they were hanging there. And I decided to add the saw in the middle since it had that pop of kind of teal color on it. And then I am going to add the dad mouse over toward the left, and then the baby mouse on his right. And then I have this little ruler. The dad is measuring the baby, so I'm going to place that in his hand. And I did put just a tiny piece of foam tape behind that as well. And I decided not to add any glitter to this card. I wanted to keep it really masculine for my dad. So that is the finished card and another peek at the inside. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. I absolutely love this stamp set and had so much fun creating my first card with it. If you enjoyed it too, please be sure to hit that like button and leave me a comment down below. I love hearing from you. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell if you want to be alerted when I post new videos. The products I use will be listed and linked in the description bar below in case you'd like to pick up anything for yourself. And if you'd like to keep watching, here are 2 extra videos I thought you might also enjoy. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I hope you had a good one, and I'll see you soon in the next. Bye-bye!